Well, good morning, friends. Bienvenidos y hola y benvenidos. Welcome and hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to Un Poco Mas. My name is Danny Deals on behalf of executive producer Un Poco Mas. Forgot to squeeze your head between my fingers. I'm very sorry. I'm very tired, guys, because I'll tell you why. Toper time check. It's 6:25 a.m. I got up early again to bring you turds some more information, guys. Exciting news, breaking news on Un Poco Mas. Pardon me. We have a new segment, guys. It's range anxiety, range anxiety, strange anxiety, street range anxiety, ST range anxiety. Whatever you want to call it, we're calling it strange anxiety because we would like to talk electric vehicles with you. Today, guys, on season 1, episode 1 of Strange Anxiety, we're talking NIO Stock, of course, ticker symbol NIO. Guys, for those of you new to the game who just fell off a turnip truck, rolled out from under your rock, NIO is a Chinese EV maker, got a ton of press a couple of years back. Everyone was calling it the Tesla of China. Of course, Tesla is in fact the Tesla of China. Tesla, as you may have saw last week, sold about 16,000 vehicles, and NIO increased their sales to 3,200. So NIO is certainly not supplanting, replacing Tesla anytime soon, but I do think we're about to go into a significant production ramp, and we have a ton of great, exciting news on the stock, guys. So let's jump right into it. First and foremost, guys, I'm just going to kind of go in order of importance here. Um, Number one, guys, June 28, 2023 in CNEV Post, which is one of the very best sources to get information on the EV industry in China, sales, developments, all that stuff. Fei Zhang, you're the man. NIO partners with Chinese oil giant CNOOC on power up network deployment. Guys, this is one of China's 3 largest oil giants, said it will provide NIO with reliable sites, technology, and service support to fuel the rapid growth of its charging and battery swap network. NIO entered a strategic partnership with China National Offshore Oil Corporation at a time where the oil giant, like its local peers, is seeking to transform itself into an integrated energy service provider. NIO's business unit, NIO Power, signed a strategic cooperation framework agreement with their refining subsidiary to jointly build charging and battery swap infrastructure. Wang Weimin, chairman and general manager of CNOOC, or CNOOC, I will call it because it's faster. Qin Long, co-founder, president of NIO, attended the signing ceremony in Hefei, Anhui province, and remotely witnessed the launch of the first joint battery swap between the two in Haizhu, Guangdong province, folks. Guangdong. Um, Guys, this is extremely exciting. They already built a swap based on this partnership. This is amazing, guys. They're already partnered with Shell. They're already partnered with CNOPEC. Guys, the writing is on the wall. These companies that are worth like hundreds of billions of dollars. I mean, I was reading CNOOC is like the top 100 of the Fortune 500. They have amazing. They're huge, guys. These guys are huge, as big as the British and the American giants. China has giant energy companies as well. Guided by China's carbon peak and carbon neutral goals, CNOOC is actively building integrated energy sites and will gradually transform from an energy producer to an integrated energy service provider. Wang said, take it from the Wanger, Mr. Wang. You guys, those of you that seen Caddyshack, it's like, this is my friend, Mr. Wang. No offense. CNOOC will provide, God, these pop-ups are just incessant on the site, but I haven't paid for my membership yet. Sorry, Fate. Fate Chang, I'm going to pay you off soon in RMB, baby. CNOOC is China's largest operator of offshore oil and gas production, ranking 65th on the Fortune 500 for 2022 with $127 billion in revenues, according to Fortune. It's their business segment that's partnering with NIO, blah, blah, blah. They're working already together in several Chinese provinces and cities, which will provide users with more. Guys, this is incredible news for NIO. Those who dismissed battery swap as a flash in the pan or a bad idea or unworkable were completely wrong. And that is really the key to being a NIO investor, is that we were right and they were wrong. Nana, nana, boo, boo, stick your head in doo doo, as my boy Daniel Tosh used to say on Tosh.0, which I think was a pretty ridiculous show. But if you wanted to pass a few times and have a few laughs, it was kind of funny. But at the time, NIO's second generation battery swap was open at the CNOOC gas station in Beijing, the presence of both parties. So they're talking about how, NIO partners with these big companies. It saves them money opening the infrastructure, and it helps the oil companies transition to a more diversified, integrated business model. On November 24, 2021, the first two battery swap stations built by NIO and CNPC were put into operation. In addition to partnership with these Chinese oil giants, NIO also signed a strategic partnership agreement with Shell, the world's largest gasoline retailer, in November 2021 to collaborate on charging and battery swap facilities in both China and Europe. The two would jointly install 100 swap stations in China by 2025, according to the statement at the time. On August 1, 2022, the first NIO Shell partnership battery swap station supercharger. So, guys, this is all the history. You can read this if you want. NIO has 1,511 battery swap stations in China and almost 1,500 supercharging stations, offering over 7,000 supercharging piles. In Europe, NIO has 17 battery swap stations and 8 charging stations. Guys, remember, they're basically just in Norway or whatever, Scandinavia, and they're just pushing into Germany. So, of course, their infrastructure there is at their infancy. But remember, they also built the factory to, or they're building or have built the battery swap manufacturing plant in Hungary. So obviously that will speed that rollout, as will the partnership with Shell. So guys, that is huge, huge news. This will allow NIO to more rapidly roll out their battery swap and charging infrastructure with less capital outlays. Guys, the other thing that I want to point your attention to on CNEV Post, not only NIO ES7 and ET7's wait times get longer, but ES6 gets shorter. Remember, guys, there were a ton of pre-orders for the ES6 rolling in. The fact that its lead time is getting shorter leads me to believe that they are ramping production as quickly as possible on this vehicle and putting the ES7 and the ET7 to the side slightly, or at least not prioritizing them, which I think is good. You should be prioritizing ET5, ES6. Those are your sellers, guys. Look at the Tesla model. How did Tesla ramp? How did Tesla scale? How do they continue to do so? It's not by building 8 different models and 16 different variations and giving everyone everything they want. It's finding the vehicles that hit the sweet spot, the Model 3, the Model Y, that medium price point where you can make a lot of money and still have a lot of demand. And Tesla, built them cheap, stacked them high, sold them, and that's what they did. NIO was too all over the place. I think they've finally learned from their mistakes, and they are going to focus on these vehicles that people want. ES7, ET7 gone from 3 weeks to 6 to 8 weeks, and the ES6 from 5 weeks to 3 to 4 weeks. Guys, check out the insurance registrations of the new cars in China, June 19 to June 25. You'll see NIO stepped up to 3,200 deliveries. Well, that's not a huge number. Historically or by any measure, they are passing and manufactured more than a lot of these companies that have been ahead of them the past weeks. Remember, last week they just did 2,000 vehicles, so that's a 60% increase week over week, which is outstanding. Hopefully we can see a similar increase next week and then beat the number they had given, which was like 10,100 to 12,000, low 12s. So at least hopefully, guys, we can be in the middle of that range. It looks like it's doable if they step up and roll some cars off the damn line pretty soon. William Lee, build some cars. Build some cars, William. That's what you do. You're a car company. You're not a furniture company. You're not a nuclear fusion company. You're a car company. Build some cars. Build some cars. Guys, just want to move over to this other very important piece of news, which was the Abu Dhabi deal. NIO secured investment of almost $1 billion from the Abu Dhabi, equivalent of their sovereign wealth fund. It's like a, quasi-government investment arm, but it's government money. They invested like $1 billion, and then they laid off, 40,000, about a quarter of it to Tencent. They also came in and purchased some of the shares from the Abu Dhabi investment vehicle. This is important for a variety of reasons, guys. If you follow the EV game, if you are a viewer of Strange Anxiety, then you're probably right into that EV game. You know that the sovereign wealth fund in Saudi Arabia owns a huge piece of Lucid, and they just made another investment. They're going to build a EV factory in Saudi Arabia with an annual capacity of 155,000 units, which I think is incredibly stupid. That's a small factory. Hopefully, it's scalable for Lucid's sake, but I believe, as I've said many times, Lucid is going bankrupt. I think they had a horrible business model. I'm not, NIO's business model wasn't perfect. They're doing too many things, but at least they have cars that people want to buy that fit into the market. Lucid with this model, so starting out with a $150,000 like supercar that went 500 miles. It's just an extremely limited market, limited appeal. I don't think it's a good looking vehicle. I don't think it appeals to the people wealthy enough to buy it. I think it's just a stupid, stupid vanity company. And I think so it's like Saudi Arabia. You know, they paid billions of dollars for this golf tour. But is it because they think they're going to make money on golf, or they think they're going to make money selling Lucids, or is it because they don't want to, you know, they want to distract from them, you know, dismembering journalists in Europe? It's, you know, one of those things. But anyway, guys, this author, this is over in Seeking Alpha, the Asian Investor. Really, really good article. Highly encourage you to read it. They're talking about the implications of the latest financing deal. CYVN Holdings, an investment firm majority owned by the Abu Dhabi government, that will see the company invest 738 million and new Class A shares. They purchased at $8.72 a share. So that was at the market, guys. That's great news. That somebody's willing to come in and step up with $1 billion at the market. Very, very bullish. And they also stated that the CYVN Holdings entered into a share purchase agreement with an affiliate of Chinese mega company Tencent, which will purchase 40 million Class A shares of NIO from CYVN Holdings. So basically, once the transaction closes, Abu Dhabi's investment fund is going to own 7% of NIO's outstanding shares. So they came in for $1 billion. Tencent took some of that action, about a quarter of it, and they're in for 7% of the company. As you may remember, Tencent is a large player in the autonomous driving market, and both NIO and Tencent signed a strategic agreement in the fourth quarter of last year, lays out cooperation in the fields of cloud-supported driving technology, intelligent driving maps, and R&D efficiency. So the fact that Tencent is investing like 250 million or whatever it is, 40 million times 8, you know, do the math, guys, times 9. It's more than that. But in any case, guys, the fact that they're putting money into the company, it leads me to believe that they're very confident in the future of NIO, and Tencent is a huge, huge player in China. So this is, again, very bullish. Both of these investors coming in, putting hundreds of millions of dollars into NIO is extremely bullish. $740 million investment deal with Abu Dhabi comes at a time for expanding losses. Of course, NIO is losing a lot of money. They're rolling out a lot of models. They're trying to ramp their sedans. The ES6 is going to be very, very critical. The ramp of the sedans has weighed on NIO's cash balance. Abu Dhabi investment will ensure that the company will be able to ramp its sedan line, including ET7 and ET5. Besides making financial sense, the deal makes strategic sense. Then they go into the Saudi Arabia, AR third investment, 60% stake in Lucid. I think, again, an incredibly stupid investment. They picked the wrong horse. Abu Dhabi picked the right horse. They're talking about a factory in Saudi Arabia, and they're talking about how Abu Dhabi is one of the most EV-friendly places in the world. Arthur D. Little, who's an automotive consultant, said they're the 8th most promising EV market in the world. You can see on the list, Saudi Arabia does not make the list. Norway, China, Germany, Singapore, UK, US, Japan, and then UAE, followed by Thailand, Mexico, India, Brazil, Indonesia, Vietnam, and South Africa. So NIO's valuation indicates that shares remain deeply undervalued. I consider NIO to be deeply undervalued, both in relation to its rivals and a historical average. This is where you get into real numbers, guys. NIO's trading at a price-to-sales ratio of 1.05, about half of its one-year average price-to-sales ratio. Although revenue estimates have trended down lately due to slowing consumer demand in China, NIO is projected to achieve nearly 50% year-over-year top-line growth next year. I previously said NIO's valuation could double, and I continue to stand by this. I agree. I think NIO's worth a lot more than it's selling for right now, but I also think the ramp is coming. That's how the market values this EV companies, is by units delivered. It's not really fair because NIO has an extremely broad foundation they've built in terms of infrastructure, in terms of models, in terms of engineering. That is not being priced in, but that's just the way these things go, guys. Risks with NIO's margins have come under pressure, that's for sure. If it fails to ramp its sedan portfolio rapidly and continues to see weaker margins in the coming quarters, it's going to be big problems. Guys, final thoughts. NIO's investment partnership with Abu Dhabi could be a game changer for both Abu Dhabi and NIO. The investment deal not only helps NIO financially, boosts its cash resources at a time it launches new models and ramps up its sedan deliveries, but it could also create a pathway for the Chinese EV company to enter a very attractive emerging EV market in the Middle East. If I were to speculate, I would say that Abu Dhabi is not only seeking investing upside in the EV sector, but also ultimately wants to encourage domestic EV production, in part because Saudi Arabia, a key rival, is spending billions to create domestic EV manufacturing capacity. NIO, therefore, is not only gaining an anchor investor with Abu Dhabi's $740 million investment, which also boosts confidence in NIO's long-term growth products, but also creates a springboard into the growing Middle Eastern EV market. Guys, this is critical. China is a crowded market. Europe is a pretty crowded market. The Middle East is wide open, and they pay more. You have better margins selling there. Creating a factory there, getting a foothold in the Middle East is very, very important. A lot of these countries are trying to transition away from 100% dependence on oil, not only in terms of their energy supply, but in terms of, you know, the future of their country in terms of diversification. They see the writing on the wall, guys, and decades down the road there's going to be less and less demand for oil, more and more demand for EVs, more and more demand for energy storage, for solar, for batteries. All these things are happening, guys. Let's take a look at the chart here real quickly. As you guys can see, this level here, like this $9.30 level, has been critical. If you come all the way back again to November when we dropped into this sort of trading range, this was support, guys. Once, twice, three times. Very close to being support here again at the turn of the year. Came down, broke down below, but regained, became resistance, became support, broke down again below, of course, guys, the last from April all the way till June, when it started to make this little run here, topped out just over $10 on this red candle, came back down. And again, guys, notice after we challenged 50-day moving average here on May 22nd, was rejected, came back down, broke through the 50-day convincingly on June the 12th, came up over, touched $10, was rejected there at 10, came back down, but bounced off the 50-day, did not break back down below the 50-day. Also, we just passed the 200-day moving average just yesterday, and then we're hanging above. If we can stay above this $9.30 line, obviously the stock has come down 10 cents. Topper time check at 6:43 a.m. The markets have opened. NIO is at $9.23, down 11 cents. So we've broken down below that. I expect us to regain that 930 line. But let's take a look at what's going on the day here, guys, really quick. I know this is on tape, so it doesn't affect you, but the markets are basically flat, down slightly. NIO's down 9 cents on fairly heavy volume, not crazy volume, but fairly heavy volume. Guys, what do we expect the stock to do going forward? I expect the stock to consolidate just very briefly at $9.30 range. Look right here, guys. I'm consolidating a little bit here, a little bit here. This has been a sticky point. It's been mostly support, but has also been a little bit of resistance here in May, and then could potentially be resistance right now. I think it's going to flip back to support like it was back last October, November, December, and we're going to see the stock move up from there, guys. Too many good things on the horizon. The production ramp is coming. Partnership with at least 4 major oil giants. You've got partnerships, galore. No one else is signing partnerships with like the scope, with the quality of companies NIO is. It's a vote of confidence in their business model. It's a vote of confidence in their product line. It's a vote of confidence in their reputation. reputation, their customer service, and basically it's a vote of confidence in their partnership with the Chinese government. I mean, let's face it, guys, the Chinese government didn't want to let NIO die. They put a lot of money in. They're their partner in both like manufacturing, real estate sites, all kinds of things, raw material. Like NIO has a clearly a preferred position with the Chinese government because I believe China realizes how important energy storage and EVs are going to be in the world just a very short time. They're already extremely important now. But guys, this is a critical level where we closed yesterday at $9.34. If we can regain that level today and close above it again, I think that's a really bullish sign. It might we might be establishing some support in that area. So guys, stock coming back up, down just 7 cents right now. But guys, this is a segment I just wanted to bring you. Range anxiety, strange anxiety, strange anxiety, ST range anxiety, street range anxiety, whatever you want to call it. That's up to you guys. I will let you guys fight over the proper pronunciation of that name. I say strange anxiety. But guys, my name is Danny Deals. On behalf of Hurricane Lopez and Stock Karen, we'd like to thank you for tuning in to Strange Anxiety under the umbrella and the auspices of Un Poco Mas, the show where we bring you just a little bit more. Going to try to bring you the Strange Anxiety segment when events warrant. But guys, if there's any other EV companies, obviously I know many of you are interested in Tesla, some of the other Chinese brands. What else do you want to talk about? You want to talk Lucid? You want to talk Canoe? You want to talk charging? You want to talk raw materials? Let me know in the comments, guys, what you want to see on Strange Anxiety. What are your thoughts on electric vehicles? What are your thoughts on China? What are your thoughts on this Abu Dhabi deal? What are your thoughts on the CNOOC deal? What are your thoughts on these new models coming out and how demand's going to be? What are your thoughts on the EV price war? What are your thoughts? Are you guys thinking, are those synapses firing this morning? Guys, Topper time check is 6:46 a.m. on June 28th, 2023. The NIO stock is trading down 11 cents or 1% at $9.23. Thanks for tuning in to Strange Anxiety. We will talk again at you real soon.